Everyone wants to be consistent. They want discipline. They want focus. They want the kind of mindset that keeps moving forward no matter what. But the truth is, most people fail. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity. They fail because they cannot stay consistent. They start strong. They feel motivated. They promise themselves, this time I won't quit. But after a few days, they slow down. After a few weeks, they stop. And then they repeat the same cycle again. This is the difference between average people and dangerous people. Average people rely on motivation. Dangerous people rely on discipline. Stoic philosophy understood this difference thousands of years ago. The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for the perfect mood. They didn't believe in acting only when they felt inspired. They believed in something much more powerful, doing what must be done no matter how you feel. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, faced wars, pressure, and endless responsibilities. Yet he still showed up, not because he felt like it, but because it was his duty. And that's the key. Consistency is not about feeling ready. It's about becoming the kind of person who acts even when they don't feel like it. Because the truth is simple. You will not feel motivated every day. You will not feel disciplined every day. You will not feel strong every day. But if your actions depend on your feelings, you will never become consistent. That's why in this video, we're going to break down 5 ruthless Stoic rules that will make you dangerously consistent. These are not soft lessons. These are not comfortable ideas. These are rules that force you to face reality. Rules that eliminate excuses. Rules that build mental toughness. Rules that turn discipline into identity. Because once you become consistent, you become unstoppable. And once you become unstoppable, your life changes forever. Feel like it. This is the first and most brutal Stoic rule. Stop waiting to feel like it. Most people believe that action comes from motivation. They think, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll work when I feel motivated. I'll push harder when I feel energetic. But the truth is, that feeling rarely comes. And even when it comes, it doesn't stay. This is why most people remain inconsistent, because their actions depend on their emotions. If they feel good, they work. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel inspired, they start. If they feel bored, they quit. Their entire life becomes controlled by how they feel in the moment. Stoic philosophy completely rejects this mindset. The Stoics believed that emotions are unstable. They come and go. They change every day. And if you let them control your actions, your life will always be unstable. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He didn't wake up every day feeling motivated to lead an empire. He didn't always feel strong or ready, but he still got up and did his duty. Because he believed in something stronger than motivation: responsibility. He saw himself as someone who had a role to fulfill, and that role didn't depend on how he felt. This is where your mindset must change. Instead of asking, do I feel like doing this today? Start asking, is this something that must be done? If the answer is yes, then you do it. No negotiation, no delay, no emotional discussion. This is the difference between weak discipline and strong discipline. Weak discipline waits for the right mood. Strong discipline ignores the mood completely. At first, this feels difficult. Your mind will resist. It will create excuses. You are tired. You deserve a break. You can do it tomorrow. But every time you listen to these thoughts, you weaken yourself. And every time you ignore them, you strengthen yourself. This is how discipline is built, not in easy moments, but in moments when you don't feel like acting and still do it. Because those are the moments that define your identity. Anyone can walk when they feel motivated, but only a few people can walk when they feel nothing. And those few people become dangerous because they are not controlled by emotions, they are controlled by decisions. Once you reach this level, consistency becomes natural. You don't rely on inspiration, you rely on commitment. You don't need motivation, you become the reason action happens. And that's when everything changes. Because the moment you stop waiting to feel ready, you become unstoppable. Part 2. Eliminate excuses completely. If you want to become dangerously consistent, you must understand one thing clearly. Excuses are your biggest enemy. Not lack of time, not lack of talent, not lack of opportunity. Excuses. Because every time you avoid doing something important, your mind will give you a reason. And that reason will always sound valid. I'm too tired today. I had a long day. I'll start fresh tomorrow. I'm not in the right mindset. These excuses feel real. They feel logical. But in reality, they are just ways to escape discomfort. Stoic philosophy teaches that the mind is very good at protecting you from effort. It will always try to choose comfort over growth. And if you keep listening to it, your life will stay exactly where it is. Marcus Aurelius used to remind himself of this constantly. He knew that his mind would try to avoid difficult tasks. So instead of trusting his feelings, he trained himself to act despite them. This is the key. You don't eliminate excuses by arguing with them. You eliminate excuses by ignoring them. Most people make the mistake of negotiating with their thoughts. They think, maybe I really am too tired. Maybe I should rest today. Maybe I'll do it later. And just like that, they lose. Because once you start negotiating, excuses become stronger. They take control of your decisions. But a disciplined mind works differently. It does not negotiate. It decides. If something needs to be done, it gets done. No discussion, no emotional debate. This creates a powerful shift, because now your actions are no longer controlled by temporary thoughts. They are controlled by your standards. And standards are stronger than emotions. Think about it like this. If you tell yourself, I will work only when I feel ready, you will work very little. But if you tell yourself, I work no matter what, you remove choice. And removing choice removes weakness. This is why Stoic discipline is so effective. It simplifies everything. No overthinking, no waiting, no excuses, just action. At first, your mind will resist hard, because it is used to comfort, it is used to shortcuts, it is used to finding easy ways out. But if you stay consistent, your mind adapts. It stops searching for excuses. It understands that they no longer work. And once that happens, discipline becomes automatic. You stop wasting time thinking about whether you should act. You simply act. This is what makes someone dangerously consistent. Not motivation, not inspiration, but the complete removal of excuses. Because when excuses disappear, nothing can stop you anymore. Part 3. Make discipline your identity. Most people try to be disciplined, but very few people become disciplined. And this is the difference. Trying is temporary. Identity is permanent. When you say, I'm trying to be consistent, you leave room to fail, because trying has no commitment. You can try today and quit tomorrow. You can try when it's easy and stop when it's hard. But when discipline becomes your identity, everything changes. You no longer ask, should I do this? You become the kind of person who does it automatically. Stoic philosophy is deeply rooted in identity. The Stoics didn't just focus on actions, they focused on character. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up thinking, I'll try to act like a strong person today. He reminded himself, I am a person who does their duty. And because of that identity, his actions followed naturally. This is the shift you need to make. Stop saying, I need to be more disciplined. Start saying, I am a disciplined person. At first, it may feel fake, because your current actions may not match that identity yet. But that's okay. Identity is not built by one decision. It is built by repeated actions. Every time you act with discipline, you reinforce that identity. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you prove it to yourself. And slowly, your mind begins to accept it. You stop seeing discipline as something difficult. You start seeing it as something normal. This is where real consistency begins. Because now, discipline is not something you force, it is something you live. Think about it like this. A person who identifies as someone who works out doesn't debate whether to exercise. They just go. A person who identifies as someone who keeps their word doesn't struggle to stay consistent. They just follow through. Identity removes friction. It removes hesitation. It removes excuses. Because now your behavior is not based on mood. It is based on who you are. This is why Stoic philosophy focuses so much on character. Because once your character is strong, your actions become predictable. And predictable actions create consistency. This is also why many people fail. They focus only on results. They want success. They want progress. But they ignore identity. They don't become the person who deserves those results. And without identity, consistency cannot survive. So the goal is simple. Stop chasing results. Start building identity. Become someone who shows up every day. Become someone who does what they say. Become someone who does not break under pressure. And once you do that, you won't need motivation. You won't need reminders. You won't need discipline as a tool, because discipline will become who you are. And once discipline becomes your identity, consistency becomes unstoppable. Part 4. Train yourself to love the process. One of the biggest reasons people fail to stay consistent is this. They only care about results. They want success. They want progress. They want rewards. But they don't enjoy the process required to get there. And because of that, they quit. When results are slow, they lose interest. When progress feels invisible, they lose motivation. When effort feels repetitive, they get bored. This is why most people never become consistent, because they are emotionally attached to outcomes. Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. The Stoics believe that you should focus on the process, not the result, because the process is under your control. The result is not. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that his job was not to control outcomes, but to perform his actions well. This mindset removes pressure. You are no longer working for a future reward. You are working because the action itself matters. This is a powerful shift, because when you only work for results, your motivation becomes unstable. If results are fast, you feel good. If results are slow, you feel frustrated. But when you learn to value the process, you become stable. You show up every day regardless of what you see. You work without needing immediate proof. And that is what creates long-term consistency. Think about this clearly. Most successful people are not obsessed with results every day. They are obsessed with the process. They enjoy improving. They enjoy working. They enjoy becoming better. That is why they can keep going for years, because their motivation is internal, not external. The Stoics trained their minds to find satisfaction in effort itself. Doing the right thing, acting with discipline, improving daily. That was enough. And this is what you need to learn. Stop waiting for big results to feel good. Start appreciating small actions. A completed task, a focused hour of work, a disciplined decision. These are wins. When you start seeing them this way, your mindset changes. You stop chasing rewards. You start building habits. And habits create consistency. Another important thing happens when you focus on the process. You become less emotional. You don't panic when results are slow. You don't lose confidence when things don't go your way. Because your focus is not on what you get, it's on what you do. This creates calm strength. And calm strength is powerful, because it allows you to keep moving forward without distraction. Most people quit because they get discouraged. But someone who loves the process never needs a reason to continue. They continue because that's what they do. This is the Stoic mindset. Work without attachment, improve without pressure, act without needing validation. And over time, something incredible happens. The results you were chasing start appearing naturally, because consistency has been built, not through motivation, but through love for the process. So remember this: if you want to become dangerously consistent, stop chasing results, start mastering the process, because when the process becomes your focus, consistency becomes effortless. Part 5. Become comfortable with being alone in your discipline. This is the final and most ruthless Stoic rule. If you want to become dangerously consistent, you must accept this truth. No one is coming to push you. No one will remind you every day. No one will hold your hand. No one will stay consistent for you. Most people fail because they depend on others. They need support. They need motivation. They need someone to keep them accountable. And when that support disappears, their discipline disappears with it. Stoic philosophy teaches complete independence. The Stoics believed that your strength must come from within, not from praise, not from encouragement, not from external validation, because external things are unstable. People change, situations change, support comes and goes. But if your discipline depends on those things, you will never be consistent. This is why you must become comfortable being alone in your discipline, working when no one is watching, improving when no one is clapping, staying consistent when no one cares. This is where real strength is built. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet much of his discipline came from private reflection. He didn't perform for others. He worked on himself quietly because he understood something powerful. What you do in private defines who you are in public. Most people only act when they are seen. They work harder when someone is watching. They behave better when they are judged, but when they are alone, they fall apart. This is weakness, because real discipline does not depend on an audience. It depends on identity. A Stoic trains themselves to act the same way whether they are alone or surrounded by people, because their actions are not for show, they are for self-respect. When you reach this level, something changes. You stop needing approval. You stop needing validation. You stop needing recognition. Your discipline becomes personal. It becomes something you do for yourself. And that makes it unbreakable. Because now, no one can take it away from you. No one can affect it. No one can control it. You become self-driven. And self-driven people are dangerous. Because they don't stop when things get hard. They don't stop when no one notices. They don't stop when progress is slow. They keep going because that's who they are. This is the highest level of consistency, when your discipline no longer depends on motivation, or people, or results, but only on your decision to continue. And once you reach this point, you become unstoppable, because nothing external can break your rhythm. So remember this: if you want real consistency, learn to stand alone, because the moment you stop depending on others, you take full control of your life. And that is where true power begins.